All this computer hacking is making me thirsty.
All I wanna do is drink beer for breakfast.
Suds and Security.
All I wanna eat is them barbecue chips. All I want is someone just to try to protect us.
Live from beautiful downtown Fort Myers, it's Suds and Security. Starring Greg Skasny and John Banker.
The John Banker.
Love that, by the way. Love that. What kind of beer you got today?
Today I have a 3 citrus peel out from Southern Tier.
We should have practiced that before we started.
That's
recording.
a tough one. And
Where's it from?
New York.
Oh, New York.
Yeah. So we have our.
My son just got back from New York.
Yeah,
Went there
and you're
traveling.
going.
Yeah, I'm
right?
going. Yeah, next week. Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
sometime. Don't leak too much information out, right?
It's all right. They won't know when next week is by the time you get this edited and posted.
I know. Got a beer cat map.
Can I? Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
So
please.
Greg's wife has graciously purchased this for our makeshift studio here, and it's a beer cap map, and we're going to drink a beer from a different state and put the beer caps in there. We've got 3 in there now, and so very excited about that. Thank you very much, Greg's wife.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's
Cool
that's
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah. So my peel out is very citrusy. It's like drinking out of a grapefruit.
Oh, awesome. So I've got a funky Buddha.
That's a Florida one.
A Florida beer, yeah. It's a Hefeweizen, so very excited. You know, I lived in Germany for a while. Very familiar with Hefeweizen.
Love
so-
Hefeweizen.
Yeah, so it's cool. By the way, today's podcast is sponsored by the Weiner Companies.
What?
1642 Medical Lane in Fort Myers, 239-939-7088 for all your property management construction needs. Ken Weiner, great guy.
Call Ken.
Thanks.
Ken is the man.
Thanks for
Ken
sponsoring
is
us.
the
Yeah, we
man.
appreciate it.
Yep, I like Ken.
All right, so guess what? I just bought this new thing for my house.
Oh, what is it now?
Nest.
You love.
Oh
this.
my God, it's freaking awesome.
So today we're going to talk about Internet of Things because John is an Internet of Things freak.
Love them.
Internet
Love
of Things
all
freak.
things internet or internet of things. Yeah, love it.
So we're gonna talk today, try to educate people on what the Internet of Things or IoT is. It's a term that's thrown around about a lot on the news and things like that. It's a huge market.
It reminds me of the cloud. Remember when people used to talk about the cloud?
Yeah,
and only smart people said cloud, and everybody else
yeah.
was like, "Oh, what is the cloud? What is the cloud?" It's a server in Minnesota or something. So that's the internet things. Nobody knows what the heck it means.
And that's the issue is that the marketing people when it comes to technology
they're
are
good.
brilliant. They come up with
Most
these
marketing
great terms.
people are very, very good.
And so wham, we have the Internet of Things. And so today we're going to talk about what that is, what you need to know, what concerns us as security professionals about the Internet of Things, and the data that goes along with that, and just give you a little bit of education in a nice short 15-minute or so presentation.
you have 13 minutes left.
Oh, well. So we're going to talk about the Internet of Things. So realize what the Internet of Things mean. It's the connectivity or the connection of everything you have basically to the internet. So it's things like your refrigerator.
What about my Arlo cameras?
So I don't want to bring that say that you have them, but yeah, your
okay that you say
cameras.
They're cool.
Well, I think the Arlo cameras are cool.
I love
Baby
them.
monitors scare me, right?
Yeah, well.
And security, that kind of stuff. It's your refrigerator. It's a TV. This is a smart TV. It can be connected to the internet. It's
Smarter than me.
anything that they're all the devices around your house and in industry, which we'll talk about, that they're trying to connect to the internet for whatever purpose, whether it's to view your cameras in your phone, whether your phone can control your house, control your garage door. I mean, there's alarm systems that are obviously connected, and there's been big issues with that kind of stuff. And the reason is that obviously technology gets more advanced. What I have in my hand right here, you can see this is actually a full-blown computer that we use on assessments, right? So it's a quad-core ARM computer. That doesn't mean much, but realize like it plugs in the internet. Is a full-function computer, can do anything your basically desktop can do in a very, very small package. And so devices today are getting much more smart, and they want to connect to the internet. Things that concern me with all these devices in your house, with again your refrigerator, your washer and dryer, whatever it is that most people, I'm paranoid about what leaves my home network. So we have a product here that we use that logs everything that comes in and out of our network, and we use that for clients too. I have one at my house, right? So I log every single connection that comes in and out of my house, and I don't allow things out that are nefarious, right? So I've seen these IoT devices, whether it's your TVs and alarm systems, that actually communicate out to places that I don't want them talking to. countries that I'd rather
Right,
than not
sure,
talk to.
yeah.
Can
we say China? Or
we can say China.
And
I'm gonna
Iran? Can we say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, China mostly, right?
Right.
So
Okay, Russia.
some of these devices will peer-to-peer out to China,
Right.
And most people just don't know. Like they follow the directions, plug the device in, and let's rock, right? That's concerning to me because you don't know what data they're sending, and I think that was kind of evident with VTech. Now, VTech is a maker of
yeah.
kids' toys.
Yeah.
I have a very young son.
He does. Beautiful little boy.
Thank you. And that kind of stuff concerned me. So VTech was hacked.
Shout out to.
I'm gonna mute that out, by the way. But VTech was hacked, by a good guy hacker, who got access to all the pictures and names and phone numbers of everybody who registered basically a VTech device, and all the pictures that these things would take the kids took, address, phone numbers, all that kind of stuff. So it's very, very scary, right? He was a researcher. He got arrested, I think, for that. But,
I believe he did. Yeah.
What he did was illegal, but
Yeah.
that different podcast. But it's that kind of stuff. It's all this data that's out there with these IoT devices, right? That is being sent out, and a lot of them aren't secure by default, right? So there's a rush to market, I think, with IoT. I think the last thing I read was by the end of 2020 there will be 50 billion devices online.
So I think that's my biggest problem with it is that and I wrote an article about this on LinkedIn, but the items that people are manufacturing, that companies are making, they're not taking security into consideration because it's all about making it cool and then getting it out for sale, right?
And that's it. And there's a lot of competition. It's a big space.
Sure.
So 50 billion devices. You figure, the growth in IoT is supposed to be phenomenal, and it already is, right? So I think the pressure to get those devices out to market quickly has put security as a back burner, right? And we've seen that with some devices, where we've seen some home security systems that have default PIN numbers that weren't changeable. Right. So if you're interested in the models, shoot me an email through the Suds Security website, and I'll shoot them over to you. But there was security systems out there that were that had embedded passwords you could not change because the firmware was embedded into the device and was not changeable. It was burnt in there, basically. So any hacker with any even junior level hacker could get into those. They could get those things. They had access to them. Same thing with some of those home security systems. They were allowed to shut them off and do all kinds of crazy things. Same thing with I lost my train of thought. Anyways, but it's that the security is not baked into those devices, right? And it's the data that comes through that kind of stuff. So like your Nest, right?
Oh
you
my
have
God,
a Nest, right?
That. Yeah,
you
it doesn't
love
have
that,
that picture on it. Is that you? It could be anybody.
That could be.
Didn't we do a podcast on that?
We did do a podcast recently about Anonymous, but that's the thing that scares me is that and the Nest is a good product. I'm not saying it's insecure, but it could be.
Yeah,
you never
sure.
know. But it's just the amount of products that are out there, the amount of data they're putting out there, the amount of things that are going on the internet. With security as a second thought.
I mean, honestly, security, I love the Nest. I truly do have one. I love it. And if you want to hack it, good luck. But security can't keep up with technology.
Well,
I mean, honestly, it really can't, right? Because if you have a Nest today, and Nest has been on the market now for a couple years, and the hackers have enough time to reverse engineer it, and do that stuff, then that's going to happen, right?
And it's two different goals, right? So the goal of a security guy is to make things secure, which is does not mean convenient, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm a bit I understand
one of the things we talk about whenever we talk.
And it's an unfortunate side effect of being secure does not mean being convenient. IoT is all about convenience,
right?
It's all about I want to know everything that's in my refrigerator, how long.
So
it's
did
been
you see that? Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Did you see the Samsung now that they just brought out that they're advertising that actually can look inside of itself? You can log into the internet. Log into your refrigerator
right.
and see
how does it do that through the internet,
right? Through the internet and see what's going on. Have you seen that?
It's
cool.
I've seen. I not look at it.
So
in detail,
they have a good commercial about it. But here's the thing that people often talk to me about is they all see the 60 Minutes report on cars, and I think the local news reran it where they had cars and they were able to stop the car by hitting the brakes from the internet, all that kind of stuff. Dangerous, and that's easy for us to see why that would be bad. So I had somebody ask me the other day, hey, did you see the refrigerator? I go, yeah, I just really wouldn't have one of those. And why not? What is it going to matter that somebody can see inside of my fridge? So on the spot, I said, well, here's why it would matter to me, because social engineering, right? So somebody sees either what products I buy or what I'm out of, and now they come to the door, they send me an email, whatever the case is, and they say, hey, we noticed you're out of this, or we noticed you purchased this. And I mean, to me, that's scary.
Well, and that data is
beside all the marketing
Right.
stuff. I mean, I'm not talking about the marketing stuff. I'm talking about somebody hacking into it, right? And saying, hey, we noticed you're out of eggs. Here's something that we want you to try, or shoot us an email talking
Phishing
about
or something,
a phishing email. I mean, to me, that's scary, right?
Very well. That's just it. Is that again? They get put on there, then who knows?
Right, yeah.
And then it's the other data too. It's the it's the other data that may be sending out to places we don't
Where
want.
it's sending out.
Right?
I mean, yeah, and there's a whole marketing aspect too, right?
Well, yeah,
That now they know what's in our fridge.
Right, but and it's all again. So think about again. I'm going to pick on the alarm systems again, but so every time you leave, right, you're going to click your alarm system, right? So now they have a log of when you leave, when
Yep.
you come home, and I'm not saying that they're using that for bad purposes, but it's there, right? So if someone gets that information, that's valuable.
Are we just paranoid?
I am freaking paranoid.
Yeah.
So
I like to think I'm better than you, but I'm paranoid about it too.
Well, my data
Maybe not better, maybe smarter is
my
better.
data is my data, right? So
Right.
and I want control of that.
And you want to choose who gets it and who doesn't, and who you sell it to, right? Because data's billions. There are billions, maybe trillions of dollars made every year in marketing because of that data. So why should we not be able to sell that data to who we want to sell it to?
Yeah, and truthfully, that's a good point. And that's something that a partner of ours, an attorney, I don't mind mentioning him, Chris Vernon, said. And I think it's very
I think he's sponsoring our next podcast.
Yeah, maybe. But I think what he said one time really hit me. He says, you have everybody asks for your personal information, and he said you really have to think about it in trade. So like if I'm going to give my personal information, is what I'm getting back in trade for that personal information worth my information, right? So putting a monetary value on that, and I agree with that, but I don't think you have a choice when it comes to IoT, right?
I agree, yeah.
Your people are just plugging in and wanting it to work, and boom, away it goes. And we haven't even started talking about
So go ahead, let's get through it.
the
we
next
only have
part,
a few more minutes left.
which really is the industrial Internet of
Right.
Things. So,
Scary.
Well, yeah. So power plants, water plants, oil and gas. I mean, steel production. You name it. All these devices that are out there for a long time have network capabilities. I mean, I worked in the industrial sector for many years, and now they're trying to connect this stuff to the internet. So you start thinking about, well, now all of a sudden our electric company or my water company has IoT devices. Are they understanding how they're securing these devices and what data they're putting out there and how they can get into there? Very, very scary, right? So just water plants, and people like, I'm not going to pick on Rockwell. I worked on a ton of Rockwell equipment, but they want to promote this. The companies want to promote that our devices are ready, internet ready. We want to go. We want to put them on the network. We want to give you smart grids and all that kind of stuff. It's great, but if they don't bake security in, it scares me.
Right.
Really,
Which a lot of companies just don't think about. And so really the Internet of Things, I don't know how many cool slides you have left.
I have a couple, but
the Internet of Things is really just, it's nothing new. It's nothing that's out on the market today that wasn't out there 20 years ago. It's really just everything in your house or in your work or whatever that's connecting you or connecting it to the internet. It's nothing new. It's like the cloud, where everybody said, "Hey, the cloud," and the cloud isn't anything scary or new. It's a server somewhere, and so
but this is scary and new. So I will give you.
What I mean is the actual to the layman. Whereas, what is this? Is this some new thing that it's not a new thing, but it's certainly something we should be concerned about.
It's technology is getting smaller, faster, more adaptable. Everything's connected, and that's it. It's connecting all that kind of stuff. And if you want to, if people want to see or get a taste of some of the unsecured IoT devices out there, there's a search engine for that. It's called Shodan, right? Yeah. We use this on assessments. We look up Shodan stuff for clients that may have exposed devices, but you can go there. You can see you can see a ton of IoT devices, and these things range from everywhere from cameras to badge systems to
change your passwords, folks.
Monitors, medical devices,
yeah.
Industrial control devices. All this stuff is
don't even
out
have
there.
time to get in how scary that is. The medical devices that are now accessible via the internet.
You got to think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because they're all out there. I mean, again, those devices themselves all want to talk on the internet. It's a standardized protocol. It's easy to do. It's easy to manufacture for. The chips are available. All that kind of stuff. Software is available, so it's there. But you can use Shodan and kind of see some of that kind of stuff, which is cool and scary all at the same time. The amount of devices you can see they're just out there, and Shodan goes out there and searches for these devices that are just open. They don't have any security at all, or they have default credentials and that kind of stuff, which is, again, people not taking the time to secure their IoT devices when they put them on the network, which is which is unfortunate. So
what
it's
do you,
scary.
what do you got? What do you want to wrap up with?
So the thing I think I want to wrap up with is more towards the consumer side. I think that I could spend hours talking about the business side of things, which we do. But on the consumer side, before you decide to hook that TV to the internet, before you decide to plug your toaster in the internet, take some time, do some research online, figure out how to secure the thing. If you really don't need it at the time, don't plug it in. I mean,
or at least just don't let it connect to the internet.
Well, maybe there's functions you want to get out of that, so that's fine. But do a little research. Just Google the device, find out if there's any issues.
I think the bottom line is change the default passwords, right? The default credentials.
Anything. Anything
sure,
you use.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you would be surprised
if you can, right? I mean, I don't know that the fridge has a password, but I'm assuming it does because you can log into it.
Your
via
fridge
the internet.
doesn't have a password. You should unplug your fridge from the internet.
I love
right?
that.
So
I mean, that's
just that.
famous words from Greg Skasny. If your refrigerator doesn't have a password, unplug it. I mean, that's words to live by.
Just the way it is.
I want to mention one more time. The beer, awesome. Again, thanks to the Weiner Companies for sponsoring this podcast.
Three Citrus Peel Out.
You did horrible. I did very well today. I'd like to. I think we're going to get a lot of feedback
John,
on that.
you always do well. I just babble.
Yeah, thanks. So
it's all good.
I'm John.
I'm Greg. Till next time.
Hope we do better.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.